One goal. That's all it took to end an era. Spain just won the World Cup, beating Argentina 1-0 in extra time, and Lionel Messi's very last World Cup match ended with him watching a 19-year-old kid lift the trophy his generation always seemed destined to own. A minute 106 winner, a red card, 11 saves from a goalkeeper who still walked away with nothing, and a photo from 20 years ago that suddenly means more than anyone could have guessed back then. There is a lot to get through here, so let's not waste time. 90 minutes of goalless, bruising, defensive football. Spain dominated the ball completely from the opening whistle, moving it with total control the way they have all tournament. But Argentina's backline and a heroic Emiliano Martinez refused to break. Regulation time ended 0-0, and this final looked destined for penalties, the way finals sometimes cruelly are when one team completely controls the game but can't find the breakthrough. Spain had already gone into this final on a 37-match unbeaten run and the tournament's best defense, having conceded just one goal across the entire competition before kickoff. Argentina arrived as the tournament's highest scorers, with 19 goals on the way to this final, chasing the chance to become just the second nation in history to defend the World Cup, after Brazil managed it back in 1962. Two completely different identities, colliding in the biggest match either federation plays this decade. Then extra time flipped everything on its head. Argentina, already stretched thin from a punishing schedule all tournament, went down to 10 men when Enzo Fernandez picked up a second yellow card for his reaction to a non-call, and suddenly a tired, physically drained team had to defend a World Cup final a man short against the tournament's most relentless attacking side. You could feel the momentum shift the second that card went up. Spain didn't waste the advantage for long. In the 106th minute, deep into the second period of extra time, Nico Williams found space down the flank, squared it back across goal, and Ferran Torres finished coolly past Emiliano Martinez to win the World Cup for Spain for the first time since 2010. One goal. That's genuinely all this final needed, after over 100 minutes of football that had produced almost nothing else. Here's the detail I want you holding onto for the rest of this video, because it says more about this whole final than the scoreline does. After the whistle, with his last World Cup match now officially over, Messi didn't walk straight down the tunnel. He stayed out on that pitch for a moment. And what he did next is the image that's going to define how people remember this final, more than the actual goal will. I'll come back to that. But first, the numbers, because they tell you exactly how one-sided this really was underneath a one-goal scoreline. Spain finished with roughly 65% possession and 20 shots to Argentina's 2. 2 shots in a World Cup final. Argentina were not close to winning this game on the balance of play, red card, or no red card. Let's give Emiliano Martinez his due, because without him this final isn't even close to competitive. 11 saves. 11. That's a World Cup final record, and it's the only reason Argentina were still level heading into extra time at all, against a team firing 20 shots at him across the match. Some of those stops weren't routine either. Genuine reflex saves at point-blank range that kept a full Spanish onslaught out of the net for well over an hour. Quick pause, because I promised myself I'd do this at some point, and this feels like the moment. If you've made it this far into a video about a defending champion losing despite a goalkeeper making 11 saves, and you still haven't subscribed, I want you to know that Martinez gave everything he had tonight and got nothing for it. The least you can do is one click, right now, before you forget. Martinez's performance is the kind that usually wins you a trophy, not just individual headlines and a player of the match consolation. Tonight it earned him neither. He'll go down as one of the best goalkeeping performances in a losing World Cup final effort in modern memory. And that's a strange, bitter sentence to have to write about a genuinely heroic display that very nearly single-handedly forced a shootout. There's a cruel symmetry to it too! Martinez became a household name for his penalty heroics in Qatar 4 years ago. The goalkeeper who won a shootout almost by himself. Tonight, He did everything right for over 100 minutes and never even got the chance to have that moment again, because the match never reached penalties at all. Now, back to that image I promised you. Messi is 39 years old. This was reasonable expectation, his last World Cup. He came into this final one win away from becoming just the second man in history, alongside Brazil's back-to-back winners from 1958 and 1962, to defend the trophy at the very top level of the sport. He didn't get it, and there's no soft way to phrase that.
And here's the part that actually should get you. Whatever team you support and whatever you think about how the match itself played out, after the final whistle, Messi stayed out there on that pitch and embraced Lamine Yamal, the 19-year-old kid who just denied him the one thing left on his list. 2 decades ago, before either of their careers meant anything to the wider world, the two of them were photographed together as a baby and a rising young star sharing the same frame. Tonight, that old photo stopped being a cute footballing coincidence and became something close to prophecy, the passing of an era captured twice, 20 years apart.
Whatever anyone thinks about how it ended, Messi leaves this tournament as the most decorated player the World Cup has ever produced, with a genuinely record-setting number of career appearances at the tournament that nobody currently playing is realistically going to touch. Losing this final doesn't undo any of that history. If anything, it just closes the book on the single greatest individual chapter this sport has ever had, with the final page turning out to be somebody else's beginning. And on the other side of that hug is the story that should honestly terrify the rest of world football for the next decade. Lamine Yamal is 19 years old, and he just won the World Cup as arguably Spain's most important attacking player. In the same tournament, on the same pitch, standing directly across from the greatest player the sport has ever produced. This wasn't a passenger's medal either. Yamal was directly involved in the build-up that led to the winning goal, terrorizing Argentina's tired backline all night in exactly the way Messi himself used to terrorize defenses at that same age, 2 decades ago. The torch-passing narrative going into this final wasn't just a lazy media angle dreamed up for a preview article. It's genuinely what happened, live, on the biggest stage the sport has to offer. Spain now finishes this tournament having gone the entire way unbeaten, conceding a single goal in 7 matches total, the best defensive record of any team left standing by the end. That's not a team that got lucky in one final against a tired opponent down to 10 men. That's a genuine golden generation announcing itself to the world, with a teenager already sitting at the very center of it. And it's worth saying plainly, because it's easy to lose this in all the Messi emotion. Spain didn't back into this trophy. They outshot Argentina 20-2 in the final itself and dominated possession from start to finish across the whole tournament. This wasn't a fortunate result. It was the most convincing champion this World Cup could have possibly produced. So here's where this leaves us. Argentina don't get their back-to-back title, and Messi's career ends on a final he was largely a passenger in, watching from deep as Spain dictated almost every phase of the game, and losing on the scoreboard despite his own individual brilliance, never fully disappearing, even at 39. Spain get their second World Cup, their first since 2010, and unearth a teenage superstar in the exact match that mattered most, on the exact stage that will define how history remembers him. There's no version of tonight where Argentina fans feel good about the result. Red card or not, 11 Martinez saves or not. Losing a World Cup final to a team that dominated possession and shots as completely as Spain did tonight stings in a way that a tight, unlucky defeat never quite does. But there's also no version of tonight where you can talk about Messi's career as anything less than complete. He didn't need this specific final to prove what he already proved a decade ago, and every single year since. And for Spain, and for Yamal specifically, this isn't an ending at all. It's the loudest possible opening statement a teenager could make. A 19-year-old just won a World Cup final directly opposite Messi himself, on merit, as a genuine difference maker rather than a passenger riding a stronger team's coattails. Whatever comes next for this Spain squad over the coming years, tonight was the moment the entire footballing world had to start paying proper attention. It's also worth remembering what this means structurally for the sport going forward. Spain now hold 2 World Cups, both won with a possession-based identity that's completely reshaped how international football gets played. If Yamal is genuinely the start of another generation built on that same foundation, tonight might end up mattering a lot more in 5 years than it even does right now. So that's the final. 1 goal, 1 red card, 11 saves that meant nothing in the result column, and 1 photograph from 20 years ago that just became one of the most quietly perfect images in football history. Drop your take below. Does this final change how you rank Messi, or does it not touch his legacy at all? And is Yamal now the outright favorite to be this sport's next great one, or is it too early to hand him that yet? That's the tournament. 6 weeks, more chaos than anyone predicted, and it ends with a changing of the guard playing out in real time on the biggest stage in the sport. Thanks for watching all of it with me this summer. I'll see you in the next one.